I have been through the fire, many fires.
I had come completely burned out from the United States. I rediscovered my love for family, for community.
A place where you can hit that reset button.
Burlesque was the form for me to kind of tap into my femininity. I am a work in progress.
Yes, there is no normal.
Yeah, a little shimmy. Just launch me out of here.
Save money to be ready for that new opportunity.
Big highlight of my career, House of Blues.
From long distance phone calls to sharing the same sunset here in Punta Cana. My name is Cheryl Henderson, your guide to all things Punta Cana. And on today's episode, we're talking with Michelle Sanz, who is discovering her roots and reconnecting with family after 10 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Cheryl.
Yes. So excited to hear about the reconnection with your family. Now, you're kind of a mix. Give us a little bit about your background and your heritage.
Absolutely. So after about 10 years, I have reconnected with my family here in Punta Cana. And it's been a long road to discovering where I'm from, discovering my purpose, and I am so glad that I took the opportunity to allow myself to do this, because to me, I'm a person that is very purpose-driven, and going through this journey and reconnecting with my family were things that I really just dreamed of. I was born in Puerto Rico. And after some years, my family decided to move to Panama. That's where I grew up. Those are really like the first introduction to my culture was the Panamanian culture. And I would say about 20 years later, 25 years later, I had the opportunity to move to the United States. It has never been something that I dreamt of, but I was seeing as an opportunity, so I took the dive. I went to Dallas, Texas, and lived there for about 10 years. And during that time, I was trying to find what it is that I wanted to do in life. I was still very young, out of college, really just trying to get prospects. And it came to a point in that journey where I felt in myself that it was time to move on. So, looking back, I do not regret the opportunity to have discovered that life, but I think that the next step for me was definitely reunite with my family here in Punta Cana and find what it is that I really was put on this earth for. And being close to family, feeling that connection, feeling that inspiration once again from, the time that I lived in Panama, from the time that I feel and still consider that was the best time in my life. Ooh. So to me, family is so important, and just having the opportunity to come here and build from scratch something that I've always dreamed of has been amazing.
Wow. Very interesting. So tell us a little bit about the family, because you've all come together from different places.
That's correct. So my mom is Panamanian and my dad's Dominican from Santo Domingo. Our families have always been living on opposite sides of the world. We have never really connected in the center. For me, it has always been I have my Panamanian family, I have my Dominican family.
And siblings?
And
too?
Siblings. So my siblings, I have two younger sisters, and they're like me. We're all from everywhere. I was born in Puerto Rico. My other sister was born in Miami. The other one was also, again, born in Puerto Rico. We were just a family that was traveling a lot, doing business everywhere. My parents, were always looking for good opportunities. And I think that we finally settled down was when we finally went to Panama. And there was no plans of ever coming here. But my dad was, I would say that he was also in feeling like he wanted to come home eventually. But again, it was never something that we thought about. So our family has always been very mixed. We've always have mixed feelings, not only who we are, but also where we're going. And I think eventually you find out what it is you really want and you go for it. And so that's what has led us here 10 years after. We've been apart for many years. We've been, some of us in the United States, some of us here, another part still in Panama. So it was a hard journey just to really try to reconnect once again, because again, life takes you in so many different routes. You never really know where you're going, or if this road is going to take you back to where you're from.
Right.
So I'm just really happy it finally just kind of came full circle for me.
Okay. And how long have you been here now?
Well, officially been here for a year.
A year.
A whole
Okay.
year.
And what was the point where you actually made the decision, like, I'm going to buy that plane ticket? How did that come about?
So I was still living in Dallas, Texas at this point. I'd been spending like 8 years there. And it was I remember it was like February of last year that I had been saving up enough. I didn't know what I was saving for. I just knew like I need to save money. Some big changes are coming. I just felt it. And I think it was just my mind trying to tell me, like, your life is about to change. And I was trying to prepare for that change. So in May of last year, I just bought that ticket. And I had saved just enough money. I knew that I could, get rid of all my things, sell my car, just go completely crazy and pack up everything and leave. And it was such a daunting feeling to be like, wow, I'm buying this one-way ticket. This is it. And it was a big moment for me. It's so much that I think that part of me was grieving because I was leaving something behind, but I was also scared of the possibilities of what would be awaiting for me here. Again, it's a country that I didn't know anything about, didn't really have that connection with my family here. So I was just leaving everything to God and be like,
But when you decided to move, you already had some family here in Punta Cana, or?
It wasn't a plan. It wasn't a plan. I think everything was very sudden. My mom and my dad were living in Florida at the time. This was after the pandemic. They stayed with us in Dallas for a little bit, and then they went to Florida. And my younger sister was still here. She went through the whole pandemic by herself. And we were all scattered during the pandemic and just being like, wow, when is it that the world is going to finally get back to normal,
Never.
Never did.
There is no normal.
There is no normal. And so during that time, it was so hard because we just wanted to be together again. We really wanted to spend more time together. Years had passed by and so many things in our lives had changed. And so it was finally after the pandemic, we all, were working, we're saving up. We didn't know really what was going to be the plan until I would say it was my sister that was like, well, why don't you guys just come to Punta Cana? Like, I'm fine. I'm here. I'm doing my business. Life is good. You guys should really give it a try. And I was like, but what am I going to do in Punta Cana? Like, what am I really going to do there, really? And she was like, you'll find it out. Like, I know you will.
Right. That's the vibe of Punta Cana. It's like, the universe will provide, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing these days?
So after when I got here, I just took I would say it took about 10 months out. No work, no nothing. I had come completely burned out from the United States. I was working mad hours, practically, leading this double life because I had two careers. I had my marketing career, and then I also had my performance career, keeping me, super busy. And so I just needed some time to myself to get to know the place, get to, travel, enjoy it, and then figure it out. But nowadays, I do have my own small boutique marketing business. I help restaurants. I do content for different variety of businesses as well. And I have some clients still in the U.S. that I help. So I've just been, doing the remote thing, the whole freelance thing. And it's been a while since, I walked that path. I used to be a freelancer in Panama, and that I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I just had been in the United States for so long in the corporate world that I had forgotten what it was to be an actual entrepreneur. So coming here and getting to do that, It's just been amazing. And it's been a process always.
It is always a process, but like many say, it's better to have the beach and your family and the sunshine all the
that's
time.
Therapy.
That is therapy, right? Yeah. Exactly. And that's all a part of it. So now you're running your own business, you're getting back to your entrepreneurial roots as well, and it's going fine for you.
Well, it's been a challenge. I'm not going to lie, but nothing is ever easy. But especially, I was warned. Like, you come into Punta Cana, you're gonna be brand new here, and you're gonna have to really dig in, really get busy, and connect. That's the most important thing. And what I really love is that Punta Cana has this large expat community that I didn't even know existed. So I feel that that has been really a big help for me.
Okay, so you're kind of going through the process as we speak.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I am a work in progress.
Yes, but that's a part of it. That is a part of it. We do talk with OGs, and they tell the story of going through the fire. You know, I have been through the fire, many fires. So you have to know that you're going to get to the other side. And I think it's really great that you have family here to support you, and that is something that is really important. And you sound very hopeful and positive because you left the United States. Sounds like that was kind of a grind.
You know, going back to my story in the United States, it was a rough decision just launching myself from Panama, which is the place that I knew, the place that I always felt so comfortable and at home, to going to the United States and staying there for so long. And the place where now it felt more restrictive. It felt more structured, and you are sort of like moving in this autopilot. You know, you get the new job, you get the new boyfriend, you get the car, the house, and everything. And you feel like maybe your life is finally getting put together. But then when you're really analyzing and trying to understand how you feel about it, it's a different perspective. Because sometimes we just make decisions without really thinking. We just get led by the circumstances in life. And so for me, it came to a point where I just didn't feel like myself anymore. I didn't feel that I was doing anything that really, truly made me happy. And this could be a job. This could have been, you know, maybe the family, or, I mean, the social circle that I had, the lack of family, and even my relationship with my former partner. It just came to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. I needed to be real with myself. I needed to pursue what really made me happy. And so you pick your heart, right? So the United States was hard. Panama was hard. All of that was hard. But coming to Punta Cana just provided me a greater opportunity to not only be close to family and discover where I'm from, but also a clean slate. I could do and be whoever I wanted here. Nobody knows me. Nobody really pays attention. But once you get here and you start finding people who do get you, who have been through that they felt lost and they finally needed a place where they could nurture the creative side, or, you know, go after that dream, pursue a new business, or just completely change your lifestyle. This is the place where you can do that.
Wow, I love that. So Punta Cana is a place where you can hit that reset button, right?
Absolutely. A huge reset button for me, like this big.
A huge reset button.
I was just like
whoosh, blank piece of paper, start over.
Just launch me out of here. And when I finally got that ticket out and sold all my things and packed up, I was grieving. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is crazy. What am I doing?
But sometimes it's hard to make that change, even if we know that what we're doing is not the best for us, whether it's a job, a relationship, or whatever. We can just sit in the muckety muck. You know, sometimes we just sit there because we're afraid of starting over. It's like that's what we know and that's what we're comfortable with. And it's hard. I know that it's hard. I mean, I've had various times in my life where I've needed to make that break, and it hasn't been easy. I mean, there's even a time where somebody just literally had to just pull me out. And so I know that it's really hard to do that. How did you actually just do it?
Wow, with a lot of money. I'm just kidding. No,
was it a lot of money? A lot of money?
It wasn't even that much money. I had been saving again. I was saving for something. I knew something big was happening. I think in the back of my head, I knew I needed to get out. I just wasn't really...
So maybe that's kind of a tip that people can take. Like, if you are in a hole, if you are in a dungeon, if you are really unhappy, save money to be ready for that new opportunity. Maybe a lot of people don't do that because you know what we do? We tend to feed our misery, right?
Yeah,
we go shopping, we buy a new car, we think that we need to spend money to find happiness. But what you did was actually saved money to give you the possibility to go towards something new.
Exactly. I think it's so important for people to really sit in their feelings, sit down with themselves, really think hard. Is this the life I want to lead? Is this the place that's going to lead me to that? And again, I've always been, thanks to my mother, she's always taught me like the importance of purpose and really know the meaning of who you are and why you're here. And sit down with yourself and put a list. Like, this would make me happy. This would makes me unhappy. How can I change it? And setting goals are, especially when moving abroad, is so important. So I definitely recommend people to think through it, but don't think too hard. Don't sit on it for too long because otherwise you will never make a decision and you'll keep living the same life that is making you unhappy.
So you had money and you just woke up one day and it was like...
It was it. And it's so funny because, again, the universe tells you when it's the right time. At that time, I was at my job, really comfy, nice salary. My boss. I needed to get out of there. I was like, I know this job is not making me happy anymore. My lease rent, where is it at? Oh, it's done almost in May. I have 5 months to save up, sell everything I can, and if I'm really going to go for it, just go for it. Don't even think about releasing. Don't buy any new clothes. Don't buy anything. Really just sit in your goals. Like, what is it that I need? So
me, did you set a goal? So you planned for it? You actually did?
I did. I said, well, my car is worth $7,000, and I know I can maybe save up like an additional $5,000. Just, with my savings. If I had a good salary, I just put away. You put an automatic deposit into your savings. You're not even thinking about it. It's just on automatic. And so I did set a goal for myself. Finally, when my family decided, okay, we're all going to Punta Cana, because it was a road just to get there. But when we finally did, I was like, okay, this is the time I have. And it's so convenient because I know that my lease is up soon. So I need to make a decision because otherwise I'm going to be homeless if I don't. If I don't leave right now, I'm going to have to start over. I'm going to have to rebuy things. I'm going to have to try to get my car back. So it's like you have to put yourself in a position where you cannot go back, where you cannot look back.
So you started burning the bridge.
Pretty much living on the edge.
living on the edge.
Just selling things, getting rid of things that even I found some value in, but I started getting rid of everything. And especially my car. Like, I really loved my car. And letting go of that it meant letting go of memories, letting go of trips, and like so many good things. But I knew once I sell that car, I'm not going to get it back.
Right.
And I don't even have enough money saved to buy a new one. So I have to put myself in a position where I couldn't really come back to, no, I don't want to go. No. I made every decision so intentional so that I wouldn't have a reason to stay. And so I think that's so important for people to not just say, oh, that would be nice. No, like actually put yourself in an uncomfortable position that's only going to lead you to a bigger door. That's what I would say.
Okay. And that bigger door, Punta Cana.
Punta Cana,
You
definitely.
came here starting over, fresh from scratch. Nobody knows your name.
Nobody knows who I am, where I
And
come
so
from.
nobody knows all of that.
Alias Michelle.
Alias. Is that your real name? Are we sure?
Actually,
Let me check.
Michelle is my middle name.
Okay. So we're working with middle names here.
Yes. Exactly.
We're going to look you up. No, I'm
Okay.
just joking.
No, look
So
me up.
you came here and you're ready to start over. You have your family. That's a wonderful, beautiful thing.
Yes.
You're also discovering you. What have you discovered?
I've discovered that I still have big love for family. Because being apart, you can always kind of forget that. And I think a lot of people back in the States are so accustomed to being away from family for years and years, not ever see each other. I was getting to a point. So like being back in Punta Cana, having my family close, it just was the best feeling. So I rediscovered my love for family, for community. Those are things that I really cherished before and I sort of forgot about because I was always like thinking about the money, the career, the travel and the nice things. And I forgot about the human connection. I really did. I think that even at work, I wouldn't say there was a single person that I could really be like, oh, that's my real friend. So that human connection, that community, those were things that I rediscovered. Like, wow, I really love it. I'm actually more social than I thought.
So
And
community, Punta Cana as a community, talk a little bit about that.
so I would say, I mean, I've had the luck of finding my people here. And it's been people that maybe are not going to be around for a long time. A lot of us come in, come out, maybe don't plan to stay for long. I decided, okay, I'm going to stay. But the people that are coming in and out of my life, those are going to be my people. I mean, in the end, life is a journey. And we're all going places. And so that was truly important to have those people. The community here has been incredible, very open. They have been so respectful. And I love that about people that come here. It's like they know they're coming to a whole new place, whether it's like different culture, different food, circumstances like the internet. Like it's just a whole different ball game out here. But when you find your people, they just kind of take you through it. They hold your hand and they help you out. And there's no, I would say like people don't do it just, out of interest for anything. They just really genuinely happy to help. So I think that's so important and so incredible.
And you're not only talking about Dominican people.
I'm talking about Dominican people. I'm talking about, Canadians, Spanish, Italian, like everybody that I've met here, whether local or expat, they have been so, it has been comforting to have those
I think
connections.
that's like a part of the vibe. I mean, we talk about that and now it's becoming a thing with me because it's not only the Dominican culture, but people who come from other places who connect with the culture because in some way, shape, or form, we're like-minded or we become like-minded as we immerse ourselves into this community. I mean, when I first came here, I was not like I am today. I was that uptight person from the United States that was like corporate. And I had to adapt to the culture because I know how strong the culture is or the community is. And it's really an incredible thing. So when you come here, it could be a shock to the system because if you're coming from a different culture that is not that Caribbean vibe.
Correct.
It could be a shock to the system, but if you find a way to adapt, if you're open-minded to adapt, then it could be the best thing that ever happened.
And it's a humbling experience.
Yes.
We are used to having, I think that in the United States, we're used to having commodities. We're used to having running water and electricity and nice schools and malls and everything. But here, it's humbling. It's very much about build experiences, build connections. Don't think so much about the material things because right now, as it stands, like there's people right now who do not have access to things that we would have back home. And so it's a humbling experience and it's something that some people are they really need to slow down and appreciate though. Because we need to appreciate slowing down.
Yes.
I think we need to, what's the word? We need to normalize slowing down, taking a breath, that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, and I think that will allow us to actually live longer. I mean, if you really think about it, the faster we run, the faster we move, the sooner we get to the end. Like, are we trying to move that? Not really.
For real.
You know, people are dropping. People are just dropping, you know, heart attacks. I mean, that's the number one killer. And
Depression, anxiety,
exactly.
drug abuse.
And that's all because we're just moving too fast. So what happens if we slow down? You know, maybe it's okay to slow down because then we can actually see ourselves grow old and enjoy the lives and smell the flowers and enjoy more sunrises and sunsets.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. You mentioned that you had kind of two things going on, the corporate job and the performing. So you're a performer?
That is true.
Okay, so tell us about that. What kind of a performer?
Well, it's so funny because, at the time I had this full-time corporate job, but with my family roots and, you know, even with things that I've done in the past, I've always been very passionate about musical, theater, costuming, just the whole showgirl era. That was always something that I grew up with, just watching movies. And so I decided about 10 years ago that I wanted to explore that creative side. And so I became a burlesque dancer. I've been putting on shows and participating in shows for literally 12 years now. Ooh. And it's been amazing. I mean, it's something that I've always wanted to do.
So for those who are not sure, tell us about burlesque what is that? Describe it.
So for me, burlesque is the highest form of female expression. It's incredibly tantalizing, incredibly so luxurious, so beautiful, and it tells a story. It tells a story. Whatever story you want to tell, you can tell it. And it's such a beautiful art form that has been around for centuries, really. And I love that recently there's just been really big figures in Hollywood like Dita Von Teese, Nicole Kidman, and girls like that portraying the burlesque dancer on the movies and things like that. Cher, Christina Aguilera, they all have kind of did this to burlesque dancers, and it's been beautiful. I mean, for me, as part of my journey, again, we're all in this world to discover who we are, and burlesque was the form for me to express my feelings about things, to kind of tap into my femininity and really explore that side of me that not a lot of us, we all have it, but not a lot of us kind of tap into it. So yeah.
This is what you did in the States. Are you doing that here now?
I used to do in the States. I had the opportunity to work with some really wonderful producers and venues. Some of them were even the House of Blues. That was big highlight of my career, House of Blues.
The House of Blues. Wow.
That was impressive. That is absolutely beautiful experience. And then later on, after I moved here, it took a minute, but I did bring all my costumes here. And I have them stored. So
you got rid of the beloved car, but you did not. Did you keep them all, or did you get rid of some?
I kept every single thing that I had in my showgirl costume, because those are just memories. That's a big part of me. I even have a book with pictures, and that's just a big part of my museum. I would say we all are the owners of our own museum. And burlesque is a big part of it. So it was really hard to, first of all, slow down on performances coming here because, now I'm coming here, I need to find out what it is I want to do next. I know that maybe down the road I might try to perform again here. I just need to find the place. So,
is there any burlesque here in Punta Cana?
I would say, there's showgirls. Those are, Showgirls are just fantastic. I've also seen a drag club that does burlesque style, performances, but actual burlesque, I still have to see it. I would love to bring that concept. So if anybody's interested, just
yes, go ahead.
Yep.
Call for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at the Mina Montenegro, and find me out there. I have all my costumes here. I considered selling some of them to the girls here, but I was like, no, I can't. It's too hard.
They're yours. They're yours. No, because they're still to be used. Mm-hmm. You still have some work to do over there. So is this something where, like, educate me, because I don't know a lot about it, but it's not like a one-person show. It's a group. So would you need to find other people? Are you looking for other maybe burlesque dancers or to put on a show? Like, what will it take?
Well, surprisingly, I started my career solo. So no backup dancers, no nothing, just kind of getting my costumes off of Amazon and then eventually making my own. So you can start off by yourself. You don't need like a lot of big production, but I think the higher level, the shows are, the better, obviously. I think just to get started, I would just need a good venue, good show producer that will give you a shot, that really believes in what you bring to the table, and that they know that what you're offering is different, is completely unseen in the area. So
who would be your audience?
Gay people.
Really? Okay, so listen.
Yes, women and the community, the LGBTQ.
We're calling for you. Let's all come together because we need to bring something new and fresh to Punta Cana. Why not?
I would love that.
Why not? We always talk about how anything is possible, and if you have an idea, then bring it to life.
Absolutely. And I think that definitely on that path of discovering, okay, where can I really bring this art form to, where it's going to be respected, because it's a lot of work. It's not easy putting these shows, and honestly, mad props to all the dancers and showgirls out here, because it's just hard work. But it's worth it, and it's so inspiring, and I would love to do that. So yeah, I would love to kind of explore that opportunity.
Let's see.
If you want to get rich in real estate, download my PDF.
Really? I would have thought that you would have said men.
Yes, no. Well, I mean, you would definitely see men, but from the LGBTQ community, a lot of it. I think that burlesque is such an open art form nowadays. It has evolved over time. And before, it was mostly a male audience, that's correct. I mean, in the end, burlesque, it is a strip form. We used to be, we're the classy stripper. We're just, like with the nice costumes and all that. But that really attracts the female audience. And so they really love a good show. The LGBT community, obviously, there's a big community of drag queens and dancers and like so many different artists. They're also very keen to the art form. And so when I go to shows, I love it because it's so diverse. You have everybody there, and when you go to a show and you're, from an audience standpoint, you see yourself represented. Whether you're from the trans community, you're from the LGBTQ community, you're from a woman of color, a Latino community, you see so many different variety of performers nowadays that is very inspiring, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to join, because I also, in the community where I started in Dallas, Texas, there was not so many of Latinas in burlesque. So I took it upon myself, well, I want to be one of the first ones if there's nobody else. Like, I want to lead this charge. And so when I started going to shows, then you start to realize, wow, like, so many different types of people, especially women. Women love burlesque, and I think it's mostly because of the costuming, the elegance, the musicality, and just everything involved is absolutely exquisite. So I definitely would recommend, if you're ever traveling to Europe or United States or just anywhere with a large burlesque community.
Maybe Punta
Go watch the
Cana,
show.
like.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And I used to teach lessons in Texas. And we had a small school also in Panama. That's where I started producing shows. So I would love to bring that over here. I still have my costumes, like I said, all that willingness to learn. I have my props here. I have my feather fans. So I would love
feather fans.
I could actually bring you my feather fans, and we can do a little lesson here if you're up to it.
Okay, I'm up to it. Maybe that's a future episode of the Punta Cana podcast.
Yeah, a little shimmy.
Love it. I love it. So interesting hearing your story and your background. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to find their purpose or to start a new chapter in life?
Okay. Wow. Well, I think that most importantly than anything is set your goals. Really sit down with yourself, be honest with yourself, and think about the life you want to design. Think about, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Where would it be? What sort of community you're looking for? And what sort of lifestyle you want to lead, right? I would say also, set your goals, have clear expectations of what you're getting yourself into. A lot of us sometimes we make decisions and we're not also very clear what's waiting for us on the other side.
Right.
Research a lot, have set clear expectations of what it is you want to do. And if it's a new place, research that place very well. And make sure you come mentally prepared, financially prepared. Try to do everything in your hands that, to make sure that this new chapter in your life is going to become closer to what you envision in life, and is going to get you closer to your goals. So always be very mindful, be very intentional in your decisions, and trust.
Yes.
Trust the process. Life is a wild ride, and sometimes you have to let yourself be led.
Yes.
And trust that there's always a plan for all of us. God has a plan for each and one of us.
Yes.
And so honor that. Honor your purpose in life. We are placed on this earth for something. Honor that. If you're doing something that is not calling to your purpose, God is going to tell you.
Make a change.
And he's going to push you into the direction that you need to be in to get closer to that purpose. So always trust.
I love that. I love that advice. I mean, that is good advice for anybody, anywhere, even if you're not looking to start a new chapter in life. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us today on the Punta Cana Podcast. And I'm excited about burlesque and learning some things from you. So definitely we'll be in touch. And thank all of you for being a part of this episode. Please be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.